Vendujal, and welcome. I just realized my door is open. Don't want to wake up my kids. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Vendujal Thorn. Yes, if we can get transcriptions for the hearing impaired, that would be greatly appreciated. We do have some who do not really speak English as their first language, but having a transcription allows them to copy paste in whatever translating format that they have would be most excellent. Now, Vendujal, and welcome. So yes, today our primary topics we're going to discuss where we have been, where we are, and where we're going. Not necessarily in that order, because I tend to jump around. But let us start in the beginning. As some of you may know, 10 years ago, we set it up, and I had arranged 50 sims for the Great Alliance. Now, that was pretty large. And so to begin, we set up the 5 Queens roleplay. So the 5 most potent queens of all those 50 sims became a target for the Shadow Lord, Lord Neurath. It was a long role play and pretty in depth, but 50 became a little bit difficult for me to manage. So I started shaving them off. And by the time we got to our next large role play, which was the Black Flowers, I believe, I had shaved it down to 30. And that was a little bit more manageable, but still proved to be a bit much, because at that time I had decided to go back to college. So I was working 60 hours a week, going to school 40 hours a week, and running the Great Alliance. So 30 sims still proved a little bit much. So we dropped it down a little bit farther. And we had the Goblin Blood Wine roleplay. Some of you out there may still be addicted to said wine, because the goblins, they had stolen a bottle of the Royal Docalfar wine and tried to reverse engineer it. Now, they were entirely successful in figuring out everything that was in it, but they did successfully come up with a very potent, very addictive wine. And that role play ran for quite some time as well. Still running in effect. It's still out there. And we have had many, many individual and cross-sim role plays since then, over time. But that brings us up to, as far as large scale, close to where we are. So the next thing that happened is some of our more intrepid players began playing around with Chaosium. They began playing around with the Kaos Plane, using the nether energies to their benefit. This does happen with necromancers. And in so doing, they attracted the attention of the chthonic deifications. And so a few of them were nabbed up and pulled into the plane of chaos so they could be poked, prodded, and investigated. And they released those individuals, sent them back here, and followed them here. That led to Atal Maru, who promptly destroyed the first structure that he or she encountered. At that point, the Conclave and the Blood Knights became active. Up to that point, the Conclave was mostly administration. They had a role, but, it was relatively moot because the forces that they were supposed to protect against were distant, and they were fine. Same with the Blood Knights. The Blood Knights were sneaking around, and they were there. Okay, they've been around for almost 10 years as far as the GA goes. But they were pretty much on their own, doing their own things, until Atal Maru showed his or her tentacled face. Now, these sleeping agents woke up and fought against Atal Maru and his or her forces at that time. But some of them managed to get in anyway, because while all the physical forces were at the front door, those that had not attained full physical form yet snuck in and found themselves elsewhere and found footholds across the realms. primarily in the deep roads. And that brings us to current date. So now, the forces that have been trying to get here and get a foothold in this realm have established such. Now, the forces here directly in front of them have been able to keep them at bay, which displeases them greatly. But they still did manage a foothold into our plane of existence, with the ultimate goal of annihilating this plane of existence. They don't just want to kill everyone. They don't just want to control everyone, take over, and become the lord of this area. They don't want that. That's not their goal. Their goal is annihilation. And that is why beings even as nefarious as the Shadow Lord oppose them, because should this plane be annihilated, that includes all of the realms, all of the planes in the plane of order, which means all of the heavens, all of the hells, all 666 planes of the abyss, the astral plane, the ethereal plane, every single plane, the nether plane, the ether plane, even the dead are not immune, because should the plane of chaos annihilate the plane of order, there will be no life, there will be no death, there will be nothing, and that is what they want. Now, those that have been infected by the plane of order, such as the Illithid, Aboleths, Grell, Beholders, all the various chaos denizens, because they have been infected by the plane of order, given them bodies, okay, given them substance. Now, some of them like that, and they have an addiction to the plane of order because of that. So they're not likely to want to go anywhere. However, that does not stop the ultimate goal. Some of them have slipped, some of the less connected individuals have rebelled, and even though they're not on our side, they definitely would not fight on our side. They're not really down with annihilation. Beholders are a pretty good example of such. Come across a beholder, they are chaos beings, and they are going to want to kill you because you're not. But they're not really trying to annihilate. They're trying to get their own foothold. Now, ultimately, if an Illithid and a beholder face off, the beholder is going to be all right, cool. I'll listen. I'll do what you said. I'm cool. I'll work for you. Because they're not stupid. We, however, we are stupid, and we are brave, and we stand strong. That is what we do. So, that leads us to the deep roads. The deep roads are the footholds. It's the ancient Dak-Elfar Empire. Used to be called the Underdark many, many moons ago, but 90% of it was wiped out in the Spider Squid Wars, and it's been rebuilt in some places by the dwarves. But the Chaos denizens have found it to be far enough away, I guess you could say, from civilization, from the surface world, that they've been able to nab up footholds in that place. Now, our intrepid adventurers, all of you, and your associates, have decided that they're wrong. It's like, all right, you got a foothold in our world. We're going to come and wipe you out anyway. Take all your stuff. Okay, so hey, you found what used to be the Underdark. All right? Well, there were original owners of that place, and we're going to knock you down and take it back. It's a tall order. But hey, that is one of the things that humans are known for, and they have influenced the rest of us. Humans have a tendency to not back down. And of course, the Dak-Elfar have been fighting for hundreds of thousands of years for this goal. So once they started having allies, once we started having allies, we are certainly down with taking out the squid faces and their tin soldiers. That's where we are right now. So chew on that for a second, and will totally be open for questions. And that leads us to our next part. But before I go there, I want to mention one of your contemporaries out there, Jaluk Deshan, who is Jaluk Latso, is working on books for us that shows all the races. And considering we technically have 170 different legal races for the GA, that is a lot. Most places you go to have one or two, or if you're really lucky, like World of Warcraft, you've got 15. Okay? 15 is a lot. Okay? All right. We have 170 different races allowed in the GA. That is more than any other place ever. Okay? Now, so to tackle that project is phenomenal. The first chapter, because it's such a project, it's coming out in chapters. The first chapter is humanoids. Okay? The chapters will be humanoids, constructs, outsiders, fake-in, off the top of my head, there's Magical Beast might be the other one. And the Enchanted, yes. And the Enchanted. Off the top of my head, those are the 5. Wolves are in. Wolves don't have their own chapter. But, yes, wolves are most assuredly in there. I have a penchant for wolves. For those that do not know, I do. The spider and the wolf are my parentage, I guess you could say, for the lack of a better word. Okay, so, but yes, there are wolves. Oh, thank you. The 6th chapter is undead. I appreciate that. You know, perfect I am not. Undead have their own chapter. And by the way, werewolves are actually undead, as opposed to all the other types of wolves, such as the Lycan and the Anthromi. They're not undead. You know, they are, that's their race. But werewolves are undead. Just a little note. So, all right, so I wanted to bring something up in that regard. In the humanoids chapter, which the wolves are in, by the way. That's correct. Magister Apprentice of all. That is correct. Werewolves are different than the other kinds of wolves because they are cursed to rise again as a wolf. Not the same as the other wolves. That's why other kinds of wolves don't like werewolves. Okay? They consider them to be an abomination. Exactly the same way that humans don't like zombies. Okay? Humans have this thing. Okay? That zombies are going to eat my brain. So I better kill them all. Well, that's the way wolves feel about werewolves. Okay? They're killing machines. We're not unreasonable. It's not like we're going to eat your eyes. You know? Yes, I like that. That is hilarious. One of my top 5 amusing songs. Yes, exactly. Okay. Which reminds me, let's see, are you in here? Yes, you are. So the author of the race book is in the room. I wanted to actually go ahead and I don't remember the wolves being under the humanoid page in the humanoid chapter, so go ahead and add that. For there are that's the best place that they should be under. Okay. And go ahead and put a note on there that does not include werewolves. Werewolves will be under undead. But all the other kinds of wolves will be there. Lycan, Wolfen, and Thromi. Okay. So, now, before I go further, oh, I guess there's one more thing I wanted to say. Talked a little. Someone asked me about the shaman, the shamanistic animal spirits. Okay, the shamanistic gods are all animal gods. Okay, the wolf, the spider, the lion, etc. Those are the denizens of Elysium. Okay, paradise. It is I believe that is the first place that you have your portal to go to. Okay, that has been picked up. The portal runs through the river Styx. The portal is on the river Styx, but the river Styx begins in Elysium. Okay, and then it borders Hades, and then starts running south. Okay. Now, a lot of people don't know who's in Elysium. Okay, they're like, "What? What is that?" It's the Greek heaven. Okay, it's not Olympus. You have to. You start in Elysium, and you might make it to Olympus. It depends on what's going on. Elysium is where all the souls go. Okay, in Greek mythology, and it has its own set of angels. I use celestials because angel has too many connotations. Every quote unquote angel race are celestials. All right, that includes Valkyrie, Cardinals, Diva. Diva is what most of you are familiar with as far as the celestials. Most people who say, "I'm an angel," dun dun dun, what they really are, they're a diva. Okay, because angel is very generic. Okay, and I've made it more generic by saying celestial, so we take out the Judeo-Christian connotation, that some people would like to put in, and that's all good. I understand your concepts, but it goes when people go there, quote unquote, then that gives them a real life grasp onto the character. And having a grasp on your character in real life is okay as long as you don't go overboard. People who choose such because of their real life religion tend to go overboard on that. So, to prevent that from happening, I have instilled Celestial as the general name. And that generally works. But if you see Cardinals or Diva or Valkyrie, remember, they're all Celestials. Okay? All right. Now, that covers the basis for where we have been and where we are. Now, the next thing will be where we're going. But before we go where we're going, I'm opening the floor to questions and comments about where we are. Nothing? No one has any questions or comments about what we have done and where we are? Nobody does. Okay. Most excellent. The breaches. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. So, when these individuals went to the Kaos Plane and were followed back, okay, the chthonic deities found a way in. They were like, okay, cool. I am going to erase everything. Well, the gods didn't like that idea, okay? The gods didn't like that idea. They don't want to be erased, okay? So the gods set up these breaches. So that magic could keep getting into the world, because they knew that, they have to have influence. And in order to have influence, you have to be able to give. So the gods set up these holes like Swiss cheese into the prime material plane. That's us. Terra is what I call us. And the elemental gods, the elemental lords, their planes are the closest to us. So the breaches lead to the elemental planes. It's really deadly to do it, but that's how they get their influence back across. And that is how all the other gods are able to get their influence across too, because they all together made these breaches to funnel energy still back into the prime material. Now, they did not exist until Star and Ondine got back from the void. All right, when they came back, when they got here, that made the entire wall between order and chaos unstable. Okay, that allowed chaos to get a foothold. But then the gods stabilize that wall. But if they fully stabilize the wall, then magic can't get in. There can be no magic. And all of them, all of us, require magic. All right? In order for the gods to even talk to their priests, there has to be a way. There has to be a door that they can speak through. Now, up to this point, they could do it with no problem, because chaos really wasn't looking at order. They stopped a long time ago. They're like, all right, we got all the time in the world. Well, they're like, okay, now is the time. Okay, let's make a push. Let's make a push. They want some of our power. Hey, that's cool. We can give them some of our power. We'll give them all our power. How about that? And the gods said, no, 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 no. All right, yes, you are the old gods, but we are the new gods. You stay out of our house. And so in order to for all of us, all the all the peoples in the prime material, the people still needed contact with the gods. So they, including the elemental lords, because there's lots and lots of deities, established the breaches. Does that answer your question? All right. And yes, if we're up to a Tal Maru and his or her minions, all of those would break. They would cease to exist. He's always trying to shut those breaches down. Because he shuts the breaches down, that means this Terra has no magic. The gods cannot do anything except for the gods that are here. Okay? The gods can't send power to their priests and heal people. There's all kinds of things that would just be a problem. So Tal Maru wants to stop those breaches. He wants to shut them down. And it's kind of up to all of you guys to make sure that he doesn't. Well, there are a few people that would be okay. Okay? But that is very, very limited. People with internal energy would be, yes. But most individuals have powers outside of internal. Priests, druids, shaman, elementalists, necromancers. Everyone that gets their power from somewhere else would be affected. Okay. Answers your question? Other questions about where we are and where we have been, or comments? Because I may forget, I am not perfect, so that there may be things that I've forgotten to speak of. Okay, I'm hearing nothing. Okay, so with that, let's talk about where we're going. Okay, let's talk about where we are going. So first in that is obviously we have to open all the breaches and remove squid heads and their tin soldiers from the deep roads. Now, once we open the breaches and remove the tin soldiers and the squid heads, where does that put us? Where are we going from there? All right. Now that's a tall order. I'm not saying that we're going to be able to do that. Yes, be that. That's not going to be all that easy, Yeah, you're right. Soon, the next thing that would happen is an attack by Tal Maru. You're right. Because they're not going to be, well, no. See, the thing about Nargaroth, right? Nargaroth is a bad guy. He's a very, very bad guy. His goal is to take over the 9 hells. All right? So, obviously, he's a very bad guy. But he hates Tal Maru more than that. Because, yeah, he can't take over anything if there's nothing to take over. So if Neurath showed up, he would be on your side, okay? He would be fighting against Atal Maru. All right? He's not a good guy, all right? Not at all. I mean, Neurath is kind of like Darth Vader, okay? You know, he thinks he's a good guy, but he, you know, I found your lack of faith disturbing. He thinks he's a good guy, but he's not. But he would definitely fight on your side against the Atal Maru. So yes, we open the breaches and evict the squid heads and the tin soldiers out. Now he's more Vader, you know, than Palpatine. You could think of him as like the Lord of the Rings eye kind of guy, you know, where he wants control. Yeah, not Saruman, but Sauron. Yes, correct. The eye guy. Yeah, like a cross between Darth Vader and Sauron would be pretty good. But he would fight on your side, and he would push all his minions. As far as he's concerned, everyone is his minion. It doesn't matter who you are. As far as he's concerned, everyone is his minion. He would push everyone off the edge to try to stop Atal Maru, because, you know, he doesn't care if people live or die. As long as Atal Maru doesn't win, who cares? You know, hey, I sacrificed 9 billion people. Cool, that's awesome. But I won. That's right. That's right. What is that? If you like it, put a ring on it. Is that what it is? All right. So, yes, that is correct. As soon as we get rid of them, then, you know, all right, we have all our magic back. Okay, all priests are copacetic once again. The breaches stop being needed. Okay, because magic flows back into the world the way it's supposed to work. So we're cool and copacetic. All right, we have stopped the Illithid invasion. Yes, but that means that the chthonic deities are going to be really upset. Now, they may decide, hey, you know what? Maybe this wasn't the time. Maybe I'll try again in another 200,000 years after all these people are gone. Now, hey, maybe they'll do that. It is possible. Who knows? You know, or they may decide, all right, I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to find another way to get in that door. And the thing is, when you know something, it's a whole lot easier to fight against something you know than something you don't. Now, definitely continue forward. Knock the squid heads and the tin soldiers out the door. That's a great idea. And open those breaches. Get the magic back. And yes, that does put you back in control of the world. Totally. But don't think that the bad guys are going away just because you pushed them out the front door. So, all right. That leads me to my next thing. How do we make the deep roads effective for everyone so that everyone feels, because they're for everyone. You know, the battles that we go to, all of that is for everyone. How do we make it so that you all feel that there's a reason for it? You know, now you've heard me talk. You know the big picture, why it's useful in the big picture, because I think big picture. All right, but I'm not a boot on the ground. No matter how hard I try, I seem to not be able to walk on the ground. So it's up to you to help me walk on the ground. All right, my boots don't seem to touch there. I tried. I don't know why, but they don't seem to like it. All right. Bellados for attendance for Jalil Ink Pen, and it's a pity because I had something to talk about the figurines Wondrous Power, and it's very unfortunate that you have to go because you hold one of those. All right. So somebody else. Okay. All right. Well, then I'll hold off. Since if you are going to do that, I'll hold off on talking about that until you return. Oh yes. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, the Fenrir had a lot of potential because Fenrir is trapped here, and he's directly involved in the main storyline. Okay, but it wasn't picked up by a lot of people, and so it got sidelined. But yes, there have been many big daggers to go into the river that have not picked up. That would have been nice. Now the Fenrir one, I had rolled that one out with Justinian. Well, see, that's the thing, is that it wasn't meant to only be for the Enthroma and the other wolves. Okay, now Fenrir is a wolf, so obviously the wolves would have been the central figures in the Fenrir roleplay, but throughout all events, there tends to be a central set, and then all the people continue forward with. But yes, in that particular case, the Fenrir roleplay was meant to be spearheaded by the wolves. Give the wolves a true bite out of what is really happening, their own reason to be directly involved. Just like those that are following Nargaroth, the Shadow Lord. They have their own reason to bite against Talmaru. The Fenrir roleplay was meant to be that for the wolves. Okay? Obviously involve other people, because every roleplay involves other people. But yes, it was meant to be a spearhead for the wolves against the forces of chaos. And Zandalin was a wolf, so his stone singing was directly part of all that. Excuse me. Hate that. Getting over a chess code. And yes, the living steel recipe is, I believe, okay, is Thorn in the room? Yes. I believe I believe the pieces are all out there, right? Okay. All of the pieces are out there. Thorn just confirmed it. They're all out there. Okay. You just got to get them together. And once you get them together, you can make living steel. And yes, of course, the obvious is useful for Metallica, and that's why you don't want the villains to have them. But there are a lot of uses on the ally side, too. Okay. Yes, for those of you in the conclave, you have a 15-page document coming your way. All right. So there, the Magister Apprentice of All just mentioned something. So those of you that are not in the conclave, okay? Those of you that are boots on the ground, how do you feel? What do you feel would make the deep road something for you to, using the wolves, seek your teeth into? By the way, while I'm on the subject, the ores and the leathers and the plants that come out of the deep roads, they do make unique items. Okay. There are things that you can make no other way, as long as you have the stuff from the deep roads. Special weapons, primarily. Okay. Okay. That is good. Uh, okay. Zilla Carpathia. That is what a paradise run is for. Okay. Paradise runs are for people who cannot meter fight. Okay. I call them paradise. Yes, paradise. Because you type out paragraph, role plays, and then the DM rolls dice to see if the event occurred. Paradise runs. For those of you that cannot meter fight, that's what those are designed for. Paradise runs. And also for those of you that are pure PvPers, for those of you that are pure PvPers, there's also runs that are just for that. You say, hey, you know what? I like to fight other players. Okay? And that can happen too. We have rooms set up where we can have one faction on one side and one faction on another. Yes, we have HUDs for the dice. All of the judges carry the dice HUDs. Okay? We just click on a button and it rolls them for us. we have a public button and a private button. Most of the time we're going to use private buttons. Okay? Because spam. And all those, some people like spam, especially if you cook it right and maybe with eggs, a nice piece of toast, but generally spam is not preferred. So we use private buttons most of the time. Okay. No, the dice HUDs are not affected by player stats already. That is why why whoever's dungeon mastering it, they have to know what your stats are so they can add your bonuses and say, all right, this person is we're rolling for mind control, but this person is let's say uh, Emerald Morningstar, Jalil Morningstar. She has a hat that gives her plus to mind control resistance. So the DM says, all right, my dice said I rolled a 67, but she has plus 20 mind control resistance. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't remember what it is right now. There's too many. That's why you got to tell your DM. And I rolled a 73. So she's not mind controlled. Bam. All right. And that's how that works. So no, the dice themselves don't know your stats. That's why you tell your DM what stats you have. Say, I have a sword that gives me plus 3 to hit. Okay. Well, when the DM rolls, they add that plus 3 onto their roll. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So yes, Paradise runs. Now, I tell you, Paradise runs do last a long time. So plan on If, say, hey, I don't have 40 hours to give to a Paradise run. Hey, you know what? That's cool. You can break them up. All right. And if somebody else wants to get it in on the run, they weren't there in the beginning. Hey, that's fine. The DM can find a way to slip you in the door. Okay. There are many ways to slip you into the door. All right. Welcome back to the link pen. This is good timing for me for you to return, because we're talking about, the deep roads. So one of the things in the deep roads, aside from all these special barks and ores and leathers, which do make special items, all right? And I really want to talk about that, so don't let me forget. But now that Jilla Ink Pen's back, I want to sidestep a little bit and talk about the figurines of wondrous power. Okay? The figurines of wondrous power, there are only 12 of them in existence. All right? And they are all lost in the deep roads, except for a few. Now, I'm not going to tell you which few those are, but I will tell you that some of our players have them. They're in the middle of role-playing with them and learning all about the cool factor, but one of those players, Jill Inkpen. There is a brass monkey. That's okay. And they are statues. That's right. The iron butterfly. The iron butterfly is a figurine of wondrous power. All right. And it is one of the 12. Now, Jalil Inkpen, before I speak on this, can you tell everyone, that's awesome, what you know about your iron butterfly? All true. Can you tell them what its power is? There you go. I'll get back to Emerald because I want to find out what story that was, what question that was. But yes, Jalil Inkpen's iron butterfly has one of its ability is called insight. So she can ask it a question once a day and get an answer from the DM or the GM, myself. And if I did this, or whatever the question is, what would be the result? Okay, she gets it because she has that thing. She can ask that once a day. It's pretty cool, right? Not saying that any of the others have that same power because they all have different powers. Okay? But she gets to ask the Iron Butterfly one question. Najjan, I don't remember if it's Reginar or Najjan himself, has the Stone Rabbit. Stone Rabbit is another figurine of wondrous power. Now, it gives him the ability to walk through walls. Anything made of stone. He can walk through anything made of stone as long as his rabbit's out. Okay? Anything made of stone he can walk through. It's called stone meld. Alright? Every figurine of wondrous power has a different ability. Who has the emerald chicken? The emerald chicken is a figurine of wondrous power. Now, I'm going to assume you haven't worked on it to figure out all its abilities or anything. But I will tell you, number one, it makes you resistant to petrification. It means no one can turn you to stone. And because there are Medusas and cockatrices and basilisks and beholders out there, no, you can't steal a figurine of wondrous power. A figurine, yeah, good one. A figurine of wondrous power has one master, and they do not go to anyone else. Unless that master gives them away. They can do that, you know. They can give up their figurine. But even death, the figurine is not going to go anywhere. All right? They have to willingly give up that figurine. Abandon them is what it's called. Okay? All right. Now, something else about figurines of wondrous power. Every single one of them has a certain amount of mind control resistance. She's right about that. Every single figurine of wondrous power has a certain amount of mind control resistance. So in other words, when the DM rolls the dice to find out if you are mind controlled, that number is added to whatever the die roll is. Obviously, anything over 100 is an automatic success. So if you are Doc Elfar, you have a 99. Okay? Doc Elfar inherently have a 99% mind control resistance. So if you have any mind control resistance artifacts at all, you're not going to be mind controlled. You wear your figurine anywhere you want. Okay? You can wear it in the deep roads, definitely. But anywhere you want, because it's a little buddy. Okay? Iron Butterfly. She's wearing it right now because not only does it give her mind control resistance, it's a little buddy. She can talk to it. It can talk back. You know, the Iron Butterfly is super, super smart. Okay? So it has, it's always It's kind of like, are any of you familiar with Game of Thrones? All right. You know who the dwarf is. All right. Her iron butterfly has his personality. All, yeah, Tyrion. All of the, all of the figurines Wonder's power have their own personality. It gets drunk in those things. But yes, that's exactly correct. So her iron butterfly is a cool little dude. All right. And yes, of course, the fact that its activation words were Inagata Davida made it even cooler. And but it's hers, and it'll be hers until she decides not. It's a cool little dude. Okay, thank you for bringing that up. So now I've thrown some things out there. Now do remember that in the Ithran Guild, all right, there is an office for the artificer. Okay. So, and right across the office from the artificer is the gem keeper. Both the gem keeper and the artificer can identify artifacts. Okay. So, yes, all of the figurines of Wonder's power are sentient statues. Okay, little bitty guys that do cool things. So, in the Ithran Guild, pink flaming wings, very awesome, little cool little dude. And but down in the Ithran Guild, there are two offices right across from each other that you can go and get your stuff identified. Okay? The Artificer and the Gem Keeper, both of whom can do that for you. All right? Pass the word. If you have things, you're like, hey, you know what? I got this lead pipe that I got in a Deep Roads run like 9 months ago. What do I do with a lead pipe, man? All right, this is what you do. You go down and you talk to the artificer or the gem keeper and say, hey, yo, I got this lead pipe. What do I do with it? Okay. Artificers or the gem keeper, depending on who you talk to. We'll help you. The process, there is no process. You just go. All right. This is general knowledge that is spread out. Okay? Everyone should know this. Okay? It's general knowledge that the artificer or the gem keeper, Fox is a gem keeper, can help you. Yes, Jilla Rose, Acacia Rose, is a jeweler, and she is Jabba the Fae. As Jabba the Fae, she has intimate knowledge on everything. All right. If she doesn't know it, she knows who knows it. Okay. and all conclave members. Jabba the Fae, yes. Acacia Rose is Jabba the Fae. Because she's a gangsta. Okay. Now, all conclave members, every single one, has a list of every single thing that is out there. Nah, she let Leah go. She's looking for a male. But, you know, I told her. Anyway, every single conclave member has a list of every single thing out there. It's 15 pages long. All right? And they can tell you. She's updating it, so those of you that don't have it, you will have it before the next Deep Roads run. Something like that, okay? Okay. In theory, because it is 15 pages long, she's updating it right now, all right? Now, the frog. Thank you for bringing that up. If you have items from the frog, from Cantino, they are also Deep Roads level items. All right. He is an adventurer. He walks around in the Deep Roads. He goes to the Nine Hells. He goes up to Elysium. You know, he goes and has dinner with Zeus. All right. He's a pretty well-traveled little frog. Yes. So if you have something from him, it is artifact level. Okay. Yes. Magister Apprentice of Val has glasses that reveal hidden things from him. Someone has a spoon, I don't remember who it is, that no matter that when you dig that spoon into anything, it turns into blueberry pie. Whether it's the floor, whether it's your chair, whether it's the wall, it turns it into blueberry pie. So you never go hungry. He's got, you know, that's right. The blueberry spoon. There was a blackberry fork too, by the way. Just, you know, saying. That's right. Eat your way right out of jail. You know? Yes. Spread the word that if Cantino gave you something, to contact Jalil Thorne. Tell everyone. Okay? I don't find that putting out notices helps a lot. Because I get 50 million notices a day. And you know what? I read fast, I type fast, but I don't get everything. Like Jilla Rose put something out, and I didn't even, something about the living steel recipe, and I didn't even get it. Okay? Because, so I'm not sure. I know something about the living steel recipe, and I didn't even get to read it. Because I get so many things. I'm always capped. All right? Always capped. So, if you need to contact me, You got something? Send it to me personally. Don't drop things and expect me to get it, because chances are I'm not going to. Oh yeah, the hammer and the chisel. That actually is super awesome. That makes it so that whenever you go to mine, you automatically get a plus. Okay? You automatically get a plus to that mining. And like I was saying, the ores and the leathers and the tree barks and stuff from the deep roads make special things that you can't get any other way. There are sentient beings. Sentient beings are pluses. Pluses are not sentient beings, but sentient beings are pluses. And as far as the figurines, there are 12 total. And don't forget the fork. The fork hasn't been found. The spoon somebody has. You know, hey, you might be able to get it from them. Who knows? But there's a fork too. All right. Thank you for letting me know about the Reg and I having two pieces and translate thing. you have the fork. Well, ta-da! Now you know what it does. Blackberry pie. Yes, the goblets. They're awesome. There are lots of little things out there. Lots of little cool little things out there. All right. Just because you're set, you've got this lead pipe, and you're like, dude, what do I do with a lead pipe? Trust me, it's not just a lead pipe. Yes, and then there are major artifacts like the Spear of Odin out there. The Spear of Odin, the Dwarven Crown, the Eye of Atal Maru, the Skull of Atal Maru, the Ice Staff. There are major artifacts out there also. Yes, I have the Dwarven Crown. You're right. Because it shouldn't be in anybody's hands, really. It is a major artifact, and the Shadow Lord wants it passionately. Okay? Well, you are a Magister Apprentice, so. I did. I said it back out. So, because as the magician, it is my job to make sure that Terra is safe. And to make sure that Terra is safe, sometimes I have to take things apart and put them back. All right. Oh, ha 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 ha. Jalil Ariel, you need to go to the artificer, who actually is in this room, but you can't go to him right now. You got to go downstairs. Because in this room, you can talk about all kinds of things. You can't do your trading in here. They all, I mean, not during class anyway. You can do role play in the library, but not during class. But yes, you need to see that man right there beside you. Very, very, very important. Once I hear what you got, I see it right there. Let me tell you something. You got some things. All right, now, a lot of things have been laid out, okay? And now people know about the paradise runs, and I want to get those words out. And remember that runs are entirely dependent upon you, okay? The DMs don't just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this. What the DMs do is they get information from the players and the guild leaders and say, hey, you know, I have 4 players that want to do a paradise run on the 11th. And so the DMs all talk and say, okay, one of them says, hey, you know, I have the 11th off. I can be there for that day. So bam, you got your DM for that run. So that's how that works. You guys get together. I mean, and you know, say, you know what? Billy Bob says, I don't know anybody. I want to go on a Deep Roads run, but I don't know anybody. What do I do, man? All right. Billy Bob, this is what you do. Go to your guild leader and tell your guild leader what days you have available, what times you have, what days you have, and then your guild leader will submit that to the dungeon masters. The dungeon masters will say, okay, you know, Billy Bob, Sally Mae, and Jim Bob all have 4 o'clock on Friday available, and they want to do a paradise run. So we just need to pick them a leader. Is there anybody out there to be leader? Oh, okay, well, you know, Billy Bob says that not only does he want to be in it, but he also wants to lead. All right, cool. So DM contacts Billy Bob and says, hey, Sally Mae and Jim Bob want to go. So why don't you contact them, get yourself set up, and we'll get you rolling. Yes, we have a DM and a judge. Sometimes the DM is also the judge. You know, it depends on our personnel. Exactly. If you have people, all you have to do is contact a DM or a judge or a guild leader, and we'll get rolling. Okay? You know that anyone that is in the conclave will help you get going. Well, that's the same as me. You know, there's a huge number of people here. I don't have the ability to go and talk to every single person and say, hey, yo, Billy Bob is asking me about you. I can't do that. So, but if you give us information, we can help you out. All right? Talk to the conclave. Talk to your guild leader. Talk to each other. You know? You know, Jalil Thorn, Jalil Rose. You know, if they have a level of responsibility, if they're a guild leader, if it's Jabba the Fae, if they have a level of responsibility, they can help you. All right? It's a lot, sometimes in a lot of ways, like Jabba the Fae. She knows a lot of things. If she doesn't know, guess what? She's got my phone number. She can call me, and I'll answer, as long as I'm out working. And even then, she can text me, and I'll answer later. The information can be gotten. All right. Jalil McTavish, in the room. Yes. If you don't know a thing, and you ask a person that has a level of responsibility, like let's use Jalil McTavish as an example. She is the samurai guild leader. Okay. She's also a wolf. If you ask a question, let's say you ask her a question that she didn't know, like, where do I take this yellow ore? I've got this yellow ore I've been sitting on for, umpteen million years. I don't know what to do with it. That's right. She'll text me and she'll say, hey, this thing happened. And most of the time, unless I'm with a client, I'm going to answer her. And you'll know. I mean, the bards, I don't know how many bards have come to her with questions she's been able to answer. Okay. Valsharis Coyote arrives. Vendu Valsharis Coyote. And yes, if there is an ore, take it to the geologist. All right? And that he's going to square you away. And if you can't find him, yes, that's him right there. Magister Apprentice Eval. If you are setting on things, all right, that you don't know what to do with, there are a lot of people that you can talk to that can help you. It's like you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm a Ruvian. Why would I go over to Silvara to find a thing out? I'm a shadow. Why would I go over to the light area to find a thing? All right. Well, the answer to that, first thing, check in your own area and see if anybody knows. But aside from that, there are universal established zones. Okay? The Ithran Guild is universally established. It is not just Silvarin. Okay? It spreads its knowledge everywhere. Okay? Whether you are Ruvian, whether you are Londonese, whether you are a Greenhavian, no matter where you're from, the central pillar will have the answer. The Ithran Guild is politically neutral. See? Yes, that's exactly correct. Go to them. All right? They are the pillar of knowledge. And also, you know, if you happen to be a darker individual and you're the sneaky type and you'd rather not go into the pillar, hey, go see Jabba the Fae. You know? Say, hey, yo, Jabba the Fae. I got this thing. And if I give you a couple of gold, will you go figure it out for me? Guess what? She's gonna say yes. So what she does? She's a gangster. And the Lion's Head Tavern is full of those. All right. So whether or not you want to walk into the pillar or not, you know, if you feel that doesn't fit your role play, that you wouldn't walk up to the mages and say, hey, yo, what's up? All right. If that doesn't fit your thing, go into the tavern. All right. The tavern is connected to the black market. Most of the taverns are connected to the black market. They all lead back to the Lion's Head. That is the central. That is the heart of the black market. So no matter what you do, there is a role play reason. There is a way to get your information. You know, whether it's, no matter what way you do it, whether you need to go the sneaky route or if you want to walk right in to the artificer's office, cool. Because even if you go the sneaky route, guess what? The artificer is going to be the one answering the question. All right? It's going to be how you play it, how you prefer to do it. And that's all good. I don't have a problem with it. All right? Jilla Wolf Rage, the orc in the back over there. She works at the tavern. All right? She will be able to help you in some way. Whatever you need. She's going to be able to point you in the direction. Or, you know, hand her a couple of gold and she'll do it herself. She'll go up to the artificer's office and say, hey, you know, can you help me out here? Yeah. Balatos for attendance, Jaluk Calder. Yes, I realize people are constantly crashing too, so I do apologize. Unfortunately, I don't have any control over that. Trust me, if I could, I would. All right. Now, does that help? Knowing where to go and who to see and what to do and how to get into a Deep Roads run and to know that you don't have to be a meter player to do a Deep Roads run. All right? Or if you only like the PvP, we have Deep Roads runs for those too. Now, someone said something earlier that I didn't directly address, and I think the question was something along the lines of, are all Deep Roads runs main storyline? Well, no, not all Deep Roads runs are main storyline. They are all sidebars to help the player become more involved in the storyline. Sidebars are part of the main storyline. Just imagine if you're driving down the highway, all right? You're going down, 241 or the I-70 or the I-69 or, the 12 or the 10. Now, that gets you to where you're going, all right? But there's no reason that you can't pull off on, exit 118 and slip off and do some things over here in the neighborhood, and then hop back on the highway. There's no reason you can't do that. And that's what all Deep Roads runs are, all right? They are side streets that are connected to the highway. The highway is still moving. It's still going somewhere. You slipped off into a neighborhood and grabbed some things, stopped at Target or, Wally World or, Toys R Us, and then hop back on. It's all good. We are helping you get back onto that highway. That's what we're out there for. All right, you slipped off, you stopped at McDonald's for a McRib, and you can't find your way back to the highway. That's all right. We are your GPS. We'll get you back there. Yes. Mothman doesn't care about that part, though. He's going to stay right on the main highway with you. Anyway. Any questions about all the things that we've talked about? Oh, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad you brought that up. NPC monsters. We always need NPC monsters. Okay? The Deep Roads runs are filled with NPC monsters. People playing, your contemporaries, playing a monster, playing a villain. We have, whether it's a Medusa. All right. The Deep Roads monsters are led by Elvery Dovaltar. Okay? She's in charge of those. Now, she's unwell right now, so she probably won't be able to directly answer you. So, but any member, if you want to be just contact any single member of the conclave, and we will make it happen. All right? Because ultimately, I'm in charge of that group too. So trust me, I'll get you there. Conclave. Conclave is the administrative and the defense group. That would be Argolind, Red Magister, Ivy Paderborn, White Magister, Vark Ort, Black Magister, Nifredel Evale, Magister Apprentice. Saskia Cormai, Magister Apprentice. Gage Collinsgrove, Magister Apprentice. Salich, Magister Apprentice. Did I miss anyone? Oh, thank you. Duh. I thought she was the first one I said. I'm glad you said. Elvery Dovaltor, Magister Apprentice. No, Naujin is not a Magister Apprentice. But Acacia Rose is Jabba the Fae. She is not in the Conclave, but she has a lot of influence. So she's good person to reach. Ondine Ninetails is not in the Conclave, but she is my apprentice, the magician's apprentice. So obviously she has a level of knowledge as well. Okay? She has Magister Apprentice level power. All right? So you can get, it will help you in that regard. Oh, Jackie Stardancer is also, Jakir Stardancer is also a Magister Apprentice. Okay, she's also in the Conclave. And of course, Valsharis Comet Coyote is in the Conclave. All right, now some of these individuals, like myself and Valsharis Coyote, may not easily be seen all of the time. Real life right now for Jackie Stardancer is pretty active, but I've been in contact with her. She is with us and will be back soon as the snow starts falling where she's at. Okay? A lot of times that is the way it is. You know, people, real life is active when there's no snow, and then they slide back here. It's a whole new meaning to winter is coming, because in the GA, when winter is coming, that means everybody's coming back to do their thing. All right? So just keep that in mind. Chances are, if there's a person that you are looking for, winter, they'll be back. It happens. It's a thing. Okay. Any questions? I'm glad you asked about the conclave. Yes. Hopefully all of those things you got. I know that there's several different names there. But all the people that I just mentioned, you can get information from regardless. Okay? Two of those people are not conclave, but they have a massive amount of knowledge that will help you. One of them is Jabba the Fae, and the other one is my apprentice. Gemkeeper, that's Dylan Folks. That is the Gemkeeper. And he has the ability to identify any artifact that when you walk through the door. Okay. And right now, because Jalil Devaltor has some real life things going on, if you want to be a monster, contact any member of the Conclave. They will be able to help you out. Okay? Especially Nifredel, who happens to be in this room right now. Okay? Because he's at most of Jalil Thorn is also at almost every single run. Alright? So the people that are almost at every single run, like Malikith Thorn, Jalil Thorn, or Magister Apprentice of All, they definitely will be able to hook you up with being a monster. And if you want to be a special kind of monster, like a Beholder, contact Magister Apprentice Kormai. That would be Zaskia in the room. He'll be able to help you with that. Alright? Special monsters like Medusa, Basilisk, Cockatrice, Beholder, Incubus. Beings that in the deep roads have extra powers. This is something, let me make it clear to all of you, and you can spread to everyone else. NPC monsters have extra powers. They are all Billy Bads. So to make them a challenge for your forces. Okay? And they all have a storyline. It's not just a hack and slash event. Okay? Because they have a storyline. Alright? They're there for a reason. You know? Some of them even have roleplay lines, like the Medusas and the Harpies. Okay? So, there's a reason they're there too. And yes, there are paradise monsters. Let's say you want to be a monster for a paradise run. Bam, we need those just as much as we need monsters that are for metered combat. Kieran, yeah. Kieran are good guys. But that doesn't mean they can't be there. I don't have a problem with that. Monsters, they're either the female-looking Mets. It's possible to have them on either side. You can have the villain version. You can have the hero version. They can be the monsters or they can be heroes. Either way. Okay? Mets are not inherently evil. Mets, the reason you have villain Mets is because they were born and bred to be death bringers. Alright? They have a storyline. They make Daleks look like trash cans. Metallici is like if you cross a Dalek with a stormtrooper and a Nazi. And and a clone trooper. If you combine all of those together, you got the Metallica. All right, because they were born to kill, like the clone troopers. They were trained to kill from birth, like the stormtroopers. They are death bringers, like Daleks, and they're metal, like Daleks. They're walking trash cans, like Daleks. All right. Yes. And like Cybermen and like Borg, all of those are accurate. But also, even more importantly, are you familiar with Skyrim or Elder Scrolls? Anybody familiar with Skyrim or Elder Scrolls? The dwarven constructs, okay, in Skyrim are the base for the Metallica. Yes, exactly. The spiders, the orbs, the Centurion. The Centurion primarily, okay, is the base for Metallica. Now, of course, you know, when I was working on Metallica with Gary 30 years ago, none of that existed yet, okay? But all of those people are following a line that pen and paper existed decades ago, okay? Okay. Living steel Mets, they deal with some of the same things normal humanoids do, but not all of them. Now, they deal with the same emotions, same reactions, okay, but they don't deal with all of the same things, you know. But generally speaking, yes. No, they do not. That was a logical question. No, they don't. Because they were built, not born. Now, you may ask the question, well, a living steel Metallica comes out of an egg. Well, see, they don't come out of an egg. They are the egg, okay? And the egg folds out like a transformer and becomes the being, all right? But they can't do that if a soul orb is not placed inside the chest. When two Mets create an egg, which, just like humans and others, it requires mating, but they create an egg. That egg is an 8-inch living steel egg. It folds out okay, right now it's nothing. It's a living steel egg. You have to open it up and put an orb inside, it's not liquid, okay? It's more like, it's sort of though. But I'll help you. Okay, so you open it up, they open it up like a transformer does. And then you put the orb inside of it, and then you close it back up, and that gives it a soul. Okay? And then, several weeks later, it grows to normal size. Okay? And folds out like a transform into a person. I haven't seen that movie, but probably true. Kind of like that. All right? Does that make sense? Yeah, you're right. That's the birds and the bees of Metallica. Oh, yes, the Allspark, back from the 1980s. Yeah, kind of like that, right? Kind of like that. Without the orb, it's just a hunk of metal. Okay? Living steel will grow whether it has a soul in it or not. But it doesn't have life. You can use living steel to make a sword. If you build a dagger out of living steel, 3 weeks later it's a sword. Okay? Because living steel grows. Okay? It's not alive unless you put a soul in it. Yes, there are, that is correct. Spell Sword and Arcane Archer can power living steel, but it will kill them. It will do it. You know, because it absorbs their soul. And that's kind of a bummer, right? So yeah. Not recommended. Now, I know no one asked the question, but it went along the lines of the question that was asked about Metallica. Yeah, living steel armor is awesome. Are any of you familiar with Spider-Man's black costume? Living steel armor is like that. No, not the Iron Spider suit, the black costume that eventually becomes Venom. That is what living steel armor is like. Yes. Exactly correct. The symbiote, Venom. Eventually becomes Venom, but before that, well, yeah, Carnage is like the Joker of Spider-Man, yes. That's correct. It also lives off of you. Just so you know. But it does provide a lot of protection. That is distinctly possible. You could definitely make a living steel sword with a power core, and it would be a living sword. Oh, it wouldn't. It's not that an undead couldn't use it, but an undead would have to actually feed it. You would actually have to feed it, just like say a vampire. A vampire could have living steel armor, but they would actually have to eat twice as much. Okay, let's click on this. Let me see what you're showing me. Yes, 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 like this. That is living steel armor. That's excellent. That's very nice. Have you ever heard of Exo Manowar? Exo Manowar has living steel armor. Just look it up. You know, it's XO and then Manowar. XO the letters, not EXO. It's just XO dash Manowar. Exo Manowar. He also has living steel armor. Well, with a celestial, they would just eat the life force, just like any demon, devil, elemental. You know, no different. All right. If there are any more questions, then I will come back. I will not actually leave, but I need a moment to refill my coffee. No, celestials don't have any more life force than demons or devils or elementals. It's the same. And it's going to have the same reaction. It's not going to be any different than a human or an elf or a dwarf. You know, it may look different. You know, it's probably would coat their wings like Archangel with the big silver death wings, but you know, it would act the same. It would just look different. Okay. Now, yes, living steel armor drains life force from those who wear it. It does. But there are a lot of ways around that. Okay, now, I did say I was going to take a second so you guys can all chat, and that way, yeah, mingle, have a drink, be all cool. After these messages, we'll be right back. Okay. Vendujal. All right. Actually, that brings up another point. Is that, does anyone have ideas that will increase effectiveness or increase uh, mm, what's the word? Um, Attendance. That actually makes me think. I see the metered combat thing. Is that I'm going to actually talk to the leader of the White Armory, because they are technically GA on the outskirts, because they are mainly a store and a training facility. Yes, participation. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for earlier. But we had discussed using their training facilities for teaching people how to do metered runs and to increase teamwork. Now, I have heard that they have switched over to Maxim. So I'm going to have to talk to Colton Drescher and see if what they have developed is still compatible, because most of it is cover me while I move. Moving, got you covered. And it's excellent training facility. You can, both of them, Colton and his wife, are work at the National Training Center. It's an Army facility, and I have been there many times. And they have set up their training to mirror the NTC quite well. I loved it. And it really is really good for urban combat training as a team, urban combat team training, up over stairs and over walls and up hills and down alleys and all kinds. It's really well developed. I'll have to talk to him and see if it's still, if the Maxim meter, if the Maxim system he has will still work with us, because I'm not really looking at Maxim changing. I realize that it has some advantages, but unless my weapons team goes through it all and says, hey, you know what, that works with everything we've got, we can intermingle. If my weapons development team tells me that, then we can add that. Not fully switch, but we can add it as long as it's fully compatible. Now, Vark tells me it is, okay? But I would like my weapons development team to tell me that, hey, we've looked at it all, and everything is copacetic. In which case, cool. But in the meantime, I will... Well, I don't know. I don't think that Aaron is around much. Okay. Who runs Stonekeep. But they, as far as I know, his stuff still exists. As far as I know, the store's still up, so we can still use the things. Okay. But it's, it may not be the case. Last I checked it was, but I haven't checked today. But I would be surprised if Aaron just leaves. But his chief administrator is one of my blood knights. So she still has all the stuff. Okay. His number one person is one of my blood knights. So I'll check. See where we're standing. But weapons development team, those of you who are in the room and talk to Argland, that means definitely look and see if Maxim is fully compatible with what we've got. Because I know that over the last 10 years, yes, weapons development team is also part. They also watch the Unity pouch system. Weapons development team are the go-to for everything that does damage or protects you. Or heals. Okay. So definitely weapons development team, look at the Maxim system. So let's see what we all got going on. Yeah, the pouch is good. And I know that the White Magister is the one who sets out all the stuff. Go ahead. Yeah. That's good. I mean, Warwick does he always has asked me questions. But Warwick tells me that all the current weapons will work with Maxim, that they changed it. Originally, the reason I didn't want to go that route is because Pars had said, well, they won't work. But Warwick told me that it will all work. So I asked Vark to check into it deeper, and last I heard that it was good, but I want the weapons development team, including Argoland, to get together and make a call. All right, if all of our stuff works, if everything works fine, I'm good with it. All right, with adding it, because the original mission that I gave Warwick when we first before he went before he went to whatever that was, the non-SL, before he slipped out to the non-SL and found it wanting, was this same thing. But we shall see. No, adding it means we would add it, not fully switch over. Okay? But it's got to be compatible in order for that to work. Okay? So we'll see. All right? Let's let the weapons development team investigate it and take it from there. If it becomes a feasible thing, then I'll have to sit down and do row version 8 because that would change some of the core rules. But I can do that. As far as dragon weapons, Zaskia has developed 2 things that I have been trying for years to get made for dragons. So, Jalil Thorn, I strongly suggest that you talk to him. I know that Argoland has already looked at it, and he wanted to get you to look at it. Oh, okay, good. Because I think it's perfect from everything that I've read so far, but I don't have the numbers of any of test runs, but everything that I saw looked awesome, which would allow dragons a single target blast, not just the cone that they have now, and also a tail swipe, making dragons actually effective in combat, not just scouts, which is cool. Okay, so that will definitely be looked at. So definitely be looked at. Weapons development team. And I see that Muravin is already up and setting things. Weapons development team, I would, soon as you can, I would like you to have a look at that so that we can make those adjustments. And that will mean I have to sit down at my desk and rework some things, because if we have 15 levels, of course, I mean, that means 11 10 levels of players. So basically every 2 levels, it's actually not as difficult as it would sound, because that means if you're above 10, that means you are a conclave. So it works. It would not be that difficult to adjust. Would not be that difficult to adjust. So he's doing a field test right now. I'm looking at it. It does work. That is awesome. Yes, you do have... I see the... That's okay, though. That's not bad. As long as as long as there's a scaling, so that, yeah. And as long as it scales with race. So that base a variable. See, yeah, he went in. Okay, you gotta. Most of you know this, but that's awesome. That's awesome. Because a variable should have fewer base hit points than a Duck Alfar, because they have hollow bones, and they are not as hearty. Okay. Nice. Let's see what... Good. Good. What does human have? Yeah, Faye. That was going to be my question after human, so go ahead. Human is base 150. Yep. Good. Okay, so the standard is 150. Okay. Excellent. Now, as most of you know, I was working with Warwick a lot. Okay. So all of his numbers should be, and it looks like it is, should be based on information that he got from me years and years ago. Okay. Spells, races, classes, all of those things were things that I gave him for the previous previous version. Beljoss, Jill Morningstar, for being here. I know this is taking a lot longer than normal. Okay. Yes, I know there are events, and I'm running into all kinds of people's stuff, because this was... it's going on 3 hours. But initially what I see is good. Nice. All right. I'm seeing good things here. Very, very good. Okay. Yes, and the fact that the new meter is based on our existing meter already. For those of you that didn't know, Warwick did design our current meter. That's why it didn't make any sense that they wouldn't be compatible. But it does look like it. So that's excellent. Okay. Most excellent indeed. One of the nice things is love it. That is all good. Everything on here looks good. He even did lightning, which I asked him to. Okay. Nice. Good. Sorry. I'm reading what is put out in front of me. This is excellent. Now the spell list that I'm looking at, I don't. It looks like one targeted spell. Because I remember That is excellent. Very nice. Okay. Baldos Jalil Hayed for attending. But this is all very, very much in line with everything I have talked to him over the years. Names, he really, even have Enthromi in here. He really went, and Dreaders, and Chimera. He stayed with everything that we had talked about over the years. So it's not like he went off. It's not like he went off on his own tangent. That's good. That's good. So, I know that Vark has not had a lot of time to sit down with him and get all the details. And you all know that my time is not as high as I would like. So, weapons development team, you are my representatives with Warwick. And if everything I see looks good, and it has a lot of potential. And it's actually not a lot of changes. In the row, that just means that instead of every level, it's every 2 levels. And that's just perfectly fine. And it builds in the conclave already. Conclave's already built in. Because guild leader would be at 10 instead of 5. That's pretty simple. And Magister Apprentice would be at 12. Magister at 13. Supervillains at 14. And Magician at 15. Yeah, that's where the conclave starts. The conclave are the admin defense team. 12, 13, 14, and 15. So that way people can't automatically make themselves conclave. So I like it. And it will make... Yeah, and I like what I see. I like what I see. So, I love it. And it makes leveling ceremonies good again. And I know Valsharis Coyote has had many, many, many leveling ceremonies over the years. And but That will be it. Pretty nice. All right. Zazosky and Nifredel. Get with Argaland. And go and have a chat with Warwick. Let me see if he's on right now. He is. He's on right now. I'm going to send him a message and tell him I'm going to send him representatives. All right, message sent. Leveling is done at the shrine, which is the important thing. Excellent. Excellent. Very, very, very good. That makes it easier. If you already have a base of knowledge. Well, arrow would be a bullet, you know. Okay. I am going to go ahead and close this, and you guys can continue to play around. Yeah, editing this part's good. And Azowski and Nifredil, I have already sent a message to Warwick. So he will be expecting you.